See how I did the effects on my tank versus RPG-7 video. Now, we have two ways we can do this. You can use an iPhone. You would open an app called Google Street View, and then you would rotate around the entire environment. It has pictures loaded up through a satellite, and then you would capture images and create a high dynamic range image. We're going to use Cinema4D, and then you would project the lighting, the reflections, the shadows, and the environment onto the tank, so it looks a lot more realistic. You use a chrome ball. Take pictures of the chrome ball and then project it on the lights and the reflections onto the tank. This option is the one we didn't use. The option we did use was the Google Street View. You can set up your chrome ball on a tripod or a stand, take pictures of it, pop it into Photoshop, and then crop out the sides, create a box for it. So the picture is just the chrome ball, and then you pop it into Photoshop again, and then you mask out, create a mask around it, and then you crop out the edges. So the picture is just the chrome ball, and then you save it. We're gonna do this for the front, and we're gonna do this for the back. 2 pictures. And then you're gonna open a third-party software you have to download from the internet called HDRI Shop. It's gonna generate a HDRI image, a high dynamic range image. This method is a lot more time-consuming than the one that I did before, but the results were good. And then you put it in After Effects, you play with the levels, and then you create a panorama by using the 2 pictures, putting them side by side, and then you duplicate it again by pressing Control D and then sliding to the side, creating another HDRI. But the one we used was the Google Street View method. We got our 3D model from a website called Humster3D.com. It's a T-90 Russian battle tank, and it costs $95. Well, here we have our footage. It starts off with us just running. We're running in a field. We used our imagination a lot for this video, and we imagined that there was a tank firing at us. When we first got the tank 3D model, I was pleasantly surprised by it. You can even see some wires wrapped around the machine gun of the tank. That's very impressive. And then for the rocket launcher explosion, what we did was this. We didn't want to shoot the rocket launcher, the RPG-7, in public because we were scared somebody may become scared, frightened, or even just malicious and want to call the police on us, and we didn't want any static. We didn't want any parts of that. So what we did was we shot pictures and videos of the location, and then we went into a green screen studio, set up a green screen, set up some lights, set up a tripod, and then shot the footage of the RPG-7 on the green screen, and then put ourselves in there in After Effects. This is what it will look like when you first put it into your 3D software. Now, if you're working with Cinema4D, you have to find 3D models that have the format .fbx, .3ds, .c4d, .dae, and .obj. Those are the only. There's a couple more formats Cinema4D accepts, but those are the most popular ones. When I first opened the 3D model into my software, it didn't have any textures, it didn't have anything. So we had to apply some textures to it to make it look nice. This is what it looks like after we applied all the textures. And if you look below in our material section, here are all the materials we used for the tank. We didn't use all of them, but these are what the materials look like. I have to be honest, I didn't create all of these materials. I've been downloading materials from the internet for the past 10 years, and I have about 15 packs of materials. Some that I paid for, some that didn't. Some are offered to me for free. And these are all the materials that we have to make our 3D models and the projects look a lot more realistic. This is what it looks like without any lights, any reflections, any shadows, or any high dynamic range image projecting its environment onto the tank. This is what it looks like when you add the Light Studio that we downloaded from the internet, added HDRI, and then you go to your render settings and you put global illumination on to make it look a lot more realistic. And this is what this final project looked like when you put it into our environment. This is what the explosion looks like without any fire added to it. When you put the background in, add the fire. We use several fire elements. And we use the dark smoke also. For the helicopter explode, we simulated a helicopter explosion in Cinema4D, but that could be a whole tutorial on its own. I'm not going to go into that because a magician doesn't reveal his best secrets. This is what the helicopter looks like, and as we play it through, we can see it being destroyed, it being obliterated in slow motion. We added an explosion behind it, and we added some explosions on top of it. We also went in and created a 3D floor, so when it exploded, it fell to the floor and looked a lot more realistic. For the tank barrel explosion, shooting off a rocket from the tank, what we did was we downloaded an explosion, an aerial explosion from Fume FX, because it looked like it was very high quality, and it's called an aerial explosion. What it would look like something exploded in the sky, and we used it as a muzzle flash. We rotated it, added a optical flare, added a rainbow, added dust, because when a tank explodes, it shoots out dust, and we were ready to roll. Well, that's all we have for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please watch, like, share, and subscribe. We'll be putting up more tutorials to help you guys with your video editing journey. Thank you. Goodbye.